Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, I want you to just take a moment and think about the ground beneath your feet.
Yeah, usually just a surface, right?
Exactly. Something
Yeah.
functional, you
Right.
walk on it. But what if I told you that same surface could actually be this, well, this profound canvas, silently telling stories, maybe centuries old?
Stories filled with amazing artistry, history, global connections.
Right. We're going to try and peel back those layers today,
Okay.
uncover some of that unexpected depth you can find in objects that, might seem pretty ordinary at first glance.
And that's precisely where we're headed. It's a really fascinating world. We're jumping into the world of hand-knotted carpets, and then we'll take a bit of a turn and explore a really remarkable weaving technique, a design known as damask.
So our mission for this deep dive is kind of threefold. First, we really want to unpack what makes these carpets so special. I mean, way beyond just something you put on the floor.
Uh-huh.
Second, we want to get a real sense of the history, the intricate, sometimes painstaking craftsmanship behind them.
Oh.
And finally, maybe the most surprising part, we'll see how these diverse traditions and designs, like damask, actually forge these connections across continents, across centuries. It's a global tapestry.
It really is. And to help us navigate all this, our insights today, they come from some really dedicated sources. We've got details on a specific family-run carpet business, their heritage, and also the complex historical journey of Damask itself,
Yeah.
tracing it from ancient trade routes all the way to modern fashion.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a rich tapestry of information just waiting for us to, unfurl it.
All right, let's dive in then. Section 1. The artistry and legacy of hand-knotted Oriental carpets.
Okay.
So we're starting with Babak's Oriental carpets. They're in Victoria, BC, Canada, 919 Fort Street specifically. And the sources, they jump right in, describing them as suppliers of the most magnificent Persian and Oriental carpets the world has to offer. That's quite a claim, isn't it?
It is a bold claim, but it really sets the tone, doesn't it? Quality, distinction.
Yeah. The showroom opened back in August 1994, so they've been around a while, and it seems like they've always focused on showing a large variety of unique hand-knotted carpets.
So right from the start, what is it about these carpets that sets them apart? What makes them so significant?
Well, that phrase hand-knotted, it's not just a detail. It's really the absolute hallmark of quality, of uniqueness,
Yeah.
especially in Oriental and Persian carpets.
Okay.
See, unlike machine-made carpets, which are, mass-produced, often with synthetics, very efficient, hand-knotted carpets are fundamentally individual works of art. They have that human touch.
Right.
Every single knot, and there can be hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions in a big rug, is tied meticulously by hand.
Wow. Millions.
Oh, yeah. It's incredibly labor-intensive. It can take hundreds, even thousands of hours for just one complex piece.
Unbelievable.
And this manual process, it allows for just astonishing intricacy in the design, a clarity in the pattern, and a density of the actual fibers that makes them incredibly durable.
Oh, so they last. They last for generations. And it gives them this tactile richness, this feel that machine-made ones just can't replicate. And crucially, it means no two hand-knotted carpets are ever exactly identical, even if they follow a similar pattern.
So each one is unique.
Exactly. That inherent individuality, that sort of fingerprint of the artisan, that's a huge part of their appeal and their value. Each one's a singular collectible, really.
So it's baked right into how they're made, that
Yeah.
quality and value. The sources dig even deeper, saying all carpets are elegantly hand-knotted by nomadic tribes or master workshops. Now that sounds like two pretty different origins.
It is, and it's a really important distinction.
What are the implications? How does the character, maybe the soul of a carpet, differ if it's made by nomads versus in a workshop?
That's a great question. The distinction is crucial. Think about nomadic tribes. They're often moving. Weaving is part of their tradition, part of their necessity. Their carpets are deeply personal. They reflect their immediate surroundings, ancient cultural symbols, the weaver's own stories. You often find this more organic, sometimes, almost rustic charm. The patterns might have slight irregularities, a subtle asymmetry that speaks to that spontaneous creation, not following a strict blueprint.
More alive.
Exactly. There's a raw, expressive energy. And importantly, they often use natural dyes. They source themselves from local plants, berries, insects, minerals.
Wow.
So each nomadic piece is this authentic cultural artifact, a direct expression of the weaver's identity, her ethnic group, often carrying on a visual language passed down generations. They have a genuine soul.
And the master workshops, how do they differ?
Master workshops, on the other hand, are typically more structured, more formal, often established centers, maybe operating for centuries in specific regions. They employ highly skilled artisans, often specialists in executing really complex, intricate designs.
More refined, maybe.
Often, yes. The precision can be breathtaking. Very high knot densities, meticulous designs,
Yeah.
sophisticated color palettes, still hand knotted, of course, but the emphasis might be more on achieving this refined classical perfection, a kind of uniform excellence.
So two paths to quality.
Exactly. Both produce incredibly high quality, valuable, enduring carpets, but they offer distinct aesthetics, different stories, different kinds of beauty. But no matter the origin, that hand knotting technique, that's the absolute foundation of its value, its appeal, its ability to age beautifully, get that rich patina over time. It's really a testament to patient human effort.
It's incredible to think about that human element, which leads perfectly into this multi-generational legacy the sources mentioned. We hear about Dr. Hushan Rizwani, the patriarch, built an honorable reputation in the carpet business over the past 35 years in Graz, Austria.
Long time. Impressive.
Yeah, steeped in knowledge and experience in this specialty business. And then his son, Babak Rizwani, he's the store owner and operator in Victoria. And the source says Babak's been around the carpet business his entire life, leading to vast knowledge of most carpets from around the world, though he specifically specializes in carpets from Persia. I'm really fascinated by this multi-generational thing, this inherited expertise. How is that different from, say, just studying carpets or modern business training? What's the real value there for someone buying a carpet?
That's an excellent point, because this kind of inherited expertise, especially in a field like Oriental carpets, it's just profoundly valuable. It goes way beyond factual knowledge.
How so?
It's about lived experience. It's an intuitive understanding, a connoisseur's eye, a tactile memory passed down through mentorship, through shared practice. Dr. Rezwani's 35 years in Graz wasn't just selling. It was building relationships with weavers, discerning authenticity, understanding nuances of material, dye stability, regional designs.
Things you can't just learn from a book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's absorbed over a lifetime. Countless hours handling, examining, assessing. So when Babak takes over in Victoria, he inherits not just a business, but this immense living repository of wisdom.
He grew up with it.
Literally. Breathing carpets, understanding textures, evaluating dyes, recognizing patterns from a young age. He's probably seen hundreds of thousands of carpets. He has this internal database.
And his focus on Persian carpets. Is that significant?
Very significant. Persian carpets are widely seen as the historical and artistic peak of hand-knotted art. Known for sophisticated designs, rich natural colors, exceptional durability. Babak's dedication to sharing his knowledge about a motif's history, specific knotting techniques, investment potential, quality markers, that's the tangible value for you, the customer.
Right.
It turns a purchase into an informed acquisition. You appreciate not just the beauty, but the story, the heritage, its potential as an asset. This intergenerational knowledge ensures a continuity of quality, authenticity, integrity. That's rare today.
It really clarifies that buying one is like investing in that expertise too.
Right.
And that dedication seems to run through everything they do. Looking at the list of services Babak offers, it's really comprehensive.
It is.
Beyond the sale, they have worldwide shipping, carpet repair and cleaning, appraisal, even a trade-in and purchasing counter. Plus, information sheets on all carpets for education. Things like domestic free shipping over $500, free delivery service. And this is great, trials at no obligation, all supported by knowledgeable and professional staff. For someone discerning, maybe a collector, what's the deeper meaning of offering all that? How does it build confidence, maybe turn a buyer into more of a custodian?
Those services are absolutely foundational for building trust and fostering a deeper, lasting appreciation. For a discerning buyer, acquiring a hand-knotted carpet isn't just a transaction, it's a significant investment often, and implicitly, yeah, a commitment to becoming a custodian of a piece of history.
Okay.
Worldwide shipping makes them accessible globally, not just in Victoria. That's huge.
Right.
The repair and cleaning and appraisal services, invaluable. They acknowledge these are heirloom pieces meant to last generations. Professional maintenance preserves the art, protects the value. Appraisals are crucial for insurance, estate planning, maybe resale.
And the trading counter.
That reinforces their confidence in the enduring value of what they sell. They understand the entire life cycle of these items. It shows long-term thinking.
Makes sense.
And then the educational piece, the information sheets, the knowledgeable staff. That dedication to transparency empowers you, the listener. You're not just buying something beautiful, you're learning about its origin, techniques, significance, its story.
And the trials.
Trials at no obligation removes a huge barrier. You can see how it actually lives in your space before committing. So taken together, this holistic approach adds immense value, tangible and intangible. It ensures the acquisition is informed, confident, satisfying. It builds a relationship with the product, the business, the heritage. It really cultivates that sense of custodianship.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, so we've got a real feel for the world of these incredible carpets. Now let's shift gears a bit, because the sources also talk about something equally fascinating: damask.
Oh, yes, damask.
Right off the bat, it's defined as a woven, reversible, patterned fabric. What catches my eye is the technical bit. The pattern is made by periodically reversing the action of the warp and weft threads. Something about warp-faced satin weave for the pattern, weft-faced or sateen weave for the ground. And the visual effect sounds amazing. Long floats of satin-woven warp and weft threads cause soft highlights, which reflect light differently according to the position of the observer. Creates this dynamic, shiny look. Can you break down that technical magic for us? How does that work?
It's a brilliant question because the genius of damask is how it's sort of deceptively simple yet incredibly ingenious, leading to that signature look. Let's picture basic weaving. You have warp threads running lengthwise, the foundation, and weft threads woven across.
On under, right.
Usually, yes, in a simple weave, but damask uses a satin weave. A satin weave creates long float segments where one thread, warp or weft, lies smoothly on the surface for a distance before tucking under again.
Okay, so long, smooth bits.
Exactly. It minimizes the crossing points, creating this really smooth, lustrous surface that catches light beautifully. In damask, for the pattern area, you might have the warp threads floating on top, making it glossy. For the background, the weft threads float on top, giving a slightly different texture and reflection.
Oh, the contrast.
That's the key. The periodic reversing means the weaver strategically switches which threads are floating where. So the pattern emerges purely from this contrast in reflective surfaces. It's almost like an optical illusion with thread.
Wow.
As you move or the light shifts, the highlights dance across the fabric, that shimmering dynamic effect. And that's why it's reversible. The pattern is built right into the structure. That light reflection, that's the signature characteristic, making it distinct, luxurious, timeless.
That explanation really helps visualize it. The sources also mention a whole tapestry of materials and types. Yarns like silk, wool, linen, cotton, synthetic fibers. And it notes damask shows best in cotton and linen for luster.
Interesting.
Then it breaks down types. True damask is pure silk. Single damask, one set of warp swefts, max 2 colors. Compound damask, more sets, more colors. And twill damasks, with a twill weave ground or pattern. How do all these variations, material, structure, create such diversity and complexity? How did it broaden its uses?
These variations are exactly why damask is so versatile, why it's appeared in so many forms over centuries. Material-wise, silk, or true damask, is the historical peak of luxury. Silk's natural sheen just magnifies that light play we talked about, makes patterns pop with this almost liquid glow.
Fit for royalty.
Absolutely. Royalty, religious vestments, high ceremony was a fabric of power. But when it's woven in cotton or linen, as the source notes, you still get that luster, but also added durability, a different drape, maybe a crisper feel.
More practical?
Exactly. Perfect for things like elegant table linens that need to be used and washed, but still look refined. Now, the structural types expand the expression. Single damask, with its 2-color limit, often just light on dark from the weave itself, gives you those subtle, classic tone-on-tone patterns. Understated elegance.
And conquer.
Compound damask brings in multiple sets of threads. Suddenly, you can have much more complex, multicolored designs, maybe incorporating gold or silver threads, other colors, makes the fabric visually richer, more dimensional.
And twill damasks.
Adding a twill weave, which has that diagonal rib pattern, introduces another texture. It can feel a bit more robust, maybe slightly less formal than pure satin damask. So again, broadening its use. All these choices let damask range from shimmering silks for couture to durable, lovely linens for heirloom tablecloths. Shows its incredible adaptability.
It's amazing how one technique branches out so much.
Yeah.
And speaking of history, the sources place damask as one of the 5 basic weaving techniques of the early Middle Ages in Byzantine and Middle Eastern centers, along with tabby, twill, lampas, tapestry.
Foundational techniques, yeah.
But here's the really cool part. It pinpoints the name origin. Damask was named after the city Damascus, Syria, calling it a crucial, large trading center on the Silk Road. That direct link between a place and a fabric name is just captivating. says so much about Damascus as this hub of trade and innovation.
That connection is absolutely fundamental. Damascus back then wasn't just a city. It was the pivotal trading hub on the Silk Road. And the Silk Road, it wasn't just about silk. It was this vast network exchanging goods, yes, but also ideas, technologies, art between East and West.
A real melting pot.
Completely. Damascus was right at the crossroads. It absorbed weaving techniques from everywhere, especially the East, refined them, innovated. The city's artisans reached an incredible level of excellence. The fact that this specific style got named after the city, that tells you everything about its prominence, its reputation for quality.
So Damascus wasn't just trading it, they were advancing it.
Exactly. They fostered the spread and evolution because skilled artisans gathered there. There was high demand from wealthy patrons, and the trade routes let these prized textiles travel far and wide, influencing tastes for centuries. It was a true nexus of innovation and global exchange.
So from those Middle Eastern roots, Damascus took quite a trip to Europe. Sources say Crusaders who had passed through Damascus introduced the fabric to Europe in the 11th century.
An unexpected consequence of the Crusades.
Right. And the word damask only shows up in Western European language in mid-14th century French records. Then, from the 14th to 16th centuries, damasks were being woven on draw looms in Italy.
A key technological step.
And medieval ones were often woven in one color, mostly silk, that glossy pattern on a duller ground. But then came two-color damasks, even polychrome damasks with gold and other metallic threads. And we see linen damask centers pop up France, Courtrai in Flanders, Haarlem in the Netherlands, even Ireland via William III. What drove this whole European journey? Was it geopolitics, technology, changing tastes?
It's really a fascinating mix of all those things. The Crusaders were, maybe unintentionally, cultural conduits. They saw this level of textile sophistication in places like Damascus that was often beyond what they had back home. That sparked desire.
Okay, initial exposure.
Then the appearance of the word in production in Italy points to that technological leap, the draw loom. Before that, complex patterns were incredibly slow and expensive. The draw loom, while still needing a weaver and a draw boy pulling threads, mechanized pattern making significantly.
Made it feasible.
Made it much more feasible to produce complex, consistent designs domestically, even if still costly. That was fundamental for damask getting established in Europe. Aesthetically, those early monochromatic silks emphasized the weave's inherent beauty, that play of light, subtle elegance.
Appealed to the aristocracy.
Exactly. But as trade grew, new dyes arrived, quartz became more opulent. You see that evolution towards two-color, then polychrome damasks with metallics. That reflects a growing desire for more visual complexity, more overt displays of wealth, probably fueled by demand and better material access.
And the different centers like Courtrai, Haarlem.
That shows how the technique adapted to local resources and markets, moving beyond just silk to high-quality linen for different uses. William III bringing it to Ireland was a deliberate move to boost local industry. It was adapting constantly. And that difference in width you mentioned, antique looms limited by hand-throwing the shuttle, maybe 18-25 inches, versus modern mechanized looms doing 50 inches or more around 1835, that clearly marks industrialization's impact. The later jacquard loom really changed the game again.
Faster, cheaper production.
Right. It democratized it somewhat, broadened its reach. But it does raise that interesting question. What do you gain, and maybe what gets lost, when a craft transitions from human-powered art to mass production?
That's a really profound question. And it feels like the next section on nomadic damask almost answers it directly. It highlights women's huge role in nomadic communities, saying this form of weaving was generally employed by women, specifically in occupations such as carpet making.
Central role.
They gather their own materials. Raw material from pasture animals, dyes from local flora, berries, insects, grasses. And here's the part that gets me. Each woman would create a specialized pattern sequence and color scheme that aligned with her personal identity and ethnic group. And these techniques were passed down generationally from mother to daughter. That feels like more than just craft, right? It's like weaving a personal cultural story.
It absolutely is. And it's such a powerful contrast to the workshop or industrial models. Here, the object becomes a living document. Each carpet is a unique identifier, a repository of family lore, personal story, ethnic heritage.
Why so?
Well, think about her collecting materials from her own animals, foraging for local dyes. That's an intimate connection to her environment, her way of life. It gives the peace and authenticity you can't easily replicate. And when each woman creates patterns aligned with her identity and group, every knot, every color choice carries layers of meaning. It's a visual language, maybe telling stories of lineage, beliefs, tribal symbols, her dreams, her place in the world. It truly elevates craft to art, linked intrinsically to identity.
And pass mother to daughter.
That's the bedrock. Ensuring these techniques not just nodding, but understanding dyes, designs, meanings are preserved, adapted, evolved organically. It's an oral, tactile tradition, passed through apprenticeship, shared experience, family bonds, an unbroken chain.
So going back to that question of loss and gain.
With nomadic weaving, you gain unparalleled depth of personal and cultural narrative, a unique soul in every piece. Raw authenticity, a direct human fingerprint. What you might lose is uniformity, perfect geometry, maybe mass output. But what you gain in spirit, individuality, heritage, it's immeasurable. Each piece is truly a woven autobiography.
That's an incredible perspective. So if that's the nomadic tradition, how did damask more broadly fare in the modern age? The sources mention the jacquard loom, 19th century, automated with punched cards, making weaving faster and cheaper.
A pivotal invention.
And now, modern damasks are woven on computerized jacquard looms, often monochromatic, silk, linen, synthetics like rayon, patterns of flowers, fruit, other designs, and used widely. Table linens, furnishing fabrics, but also clothing, especially in fashion, linked to versatility and high-quality finish, often with higher quality brands labels. It's amazing how it lasted, adapting from ancient luxury to modern couture.
It really is a fascinating paradox, isn't it? The jacquard loom was revolutionary. Automating complex patterns with punched cards, an early form of programming, really transformed everything, made damask dramatically faster and cheaper.
Made it more accessible.
Definitely. Moved it beyond just the aristocracy. Became available to more affluent middle classes. The democratization, in a way. Today, computerized looms offer even greater precision, speed, design complexity.
So automation broadened access.
But paradoxically, it also allowed damask to maintain its association with luxury and quality. It's not only handmade anymore, but that inherent visual sophistication, the light play, the shimmer, still lends itself to high-quality uses.
Even the modern monochromatic ones.
Often, yes, emphasizes that intrinsic luster, letting the pattern speak through light and shadow without color distraction. Its continued use in fashion for mid to high-quality garments shows its enduring appeal. It's versatile for furnishings, drapes beautifully for clothes.
So the core principles remain influential.
Absolutely. That creation of subtle, rich patterns through weave contrast, the interaction with light, those principles still influence modern design. It gives a timeless, elegant finish that brands associate with quality, even with modern production. You gain accessibility, new design potential. You retain an aesthetic rooted in centuries of artistry.
That's a fantastic bridge to our final section then. Damask's echo in Indian rugs. This seems like a modern interpretation. The sources clarify it's nuanced. Indian damask rugs are a modern interpretation of the damask design within the context of Indian rug making, particularly in cashmere carpets.
Exactly.
So damask here means the design style, not the historical fabric weaving technique.
And what's fascinating here is exactly that, how a design concept, an aesthetic, can evolve, be reinterpreted, and flourish in a completely different art form, a different cultural context.
Like a visual language traveling.
Precisely. It's a great example of how cultural exchange enriches traditions. The damask in these Indian rugs isn't about that specific warp-weft reversal. It's about achieving that aesthetic outcome, often monochromatic, subtly textured patterns that look embedded in the weave, almost reversible.
Capturing the look of damask.
Yes. It speaks to the universal appeal of certain visual qualities, like that subtle light play, and how master artists adapt those principles using their own traditional techniques, in this case, rug knotting. It shows the enduring influence of a strong design language across mediums and cultures.
And speaking of influence, the sources point straight to the Persian heartbeat in Indian rug weaving, citing the Mughal influence. Indian rug weaving has deep roots tied to the Mughal era and influenced by Persian aesthetics.
A crucial connection.
It says the Mughal Empire, with its Persian heritage, brought skilled carpet weavers to India, establishing a tradition of hand-knotted rugs. This slips right back to our discussion of Persian carpets and Babak's family expertise. How did that migration of skills enrich Indian traditions? Did it create a hybrid style?
Absolutely. It's a classic case of cultural cross-pollination. The Mughal emperors, like Babur, had deep Persian roots and a love for Persian art. They actively brought master artisans, including carpet weavers, from Persia to India.
Under royal patronage.
Exactly. And these weavers didn't just replicate Persian designs, they invigorated and transformed existing Indian traditions. They brought knowledge of intricate knotting, like the Persian knot, sophisticated natural dyes, complex patterns, medallions, arabesques, florals.
So they introduced new techniques and designs.
Yes, but it wasn't a one-way street. Local Indian artisans adapted these influences brilliantly. They integrated their own vibrant color palettes, inspired by local nature and motifs from Hindu and Buddhist traditions.
Creating something new.
Entirely. This fusion led to a distinct Mughal-style Persian elegance blended with Indian sensibilities. It gained fame in its own right. What started as imported skill became uniquely Indian, a dynamic, rich visual language born from that exchange. Art is rarely static. It evolves through interaction.
That evolution really shines through when the sources say Indian makers adapted Persian designs, incorporating Hindu and Buddhist motifs and patterns inspired by nature. That's the cultural synthesis you mentioned. Can you give some examples? How does this mixing create such rich visual languages?
It's where the real creativity happens. It's not just copying, it's interpretation, integration. By weaving in Hindu and Buddhist symbols, local nature patterns, they imbued the rugs with their own cultural identity.
Like what kind of symbols?
Well, while Persian carpets might have stylized flowers, Indian versions might show more naturalistic local flora or integrate the lotus flower, hugely symbolic in Hinduism and Buddhism, representing purity, awakening. You might see geometric patterns or color combinations rooted in indigenous Indian art, woven into a classic Persian layout.
So layers of meaning.
Exactly. This process shows the power of cross-pollination. It doesn't just blend styles, it births something new, speaking to multiple heritages. These designs are dynamic because they carry layered meanings, diverse narratives, multiple symbols. They resonate more broadly, offer a richer aesthetic. It proves art flourishes when ideas travel, get reimagined through different cultural lenses, creating more complex, beautiful languages.
Let's talk about the actual making, the craftsmanship, and materials in Indian rugs. Sources reiterate that commitment. Indian rug weaving involves intricate techniques like hand knotting, and they mention natural dyes sourced from plants, minerals, and insects, echoing those nomadic practices.
Yes, that continuity is striking.
Primary materials are wool, cotton, and silk, with a specific note about silk carpets from Kashmir for their quality and affordability, gaining popularity. What's the impact of these material choices and techniques on the final rug's quality and character?
The impact is profound. First, sticking with hand knotting puts these Indian rugs in the same league of quality, detail, and durability as the best Oriental carpets. It signifies immense time, skill, artistry, something machines can't replicate. Each knot adds strength, density, resilience, longevity, makes them potential heirlooms.
And the natural dyes.
That's another critical factor. Echoing ancient traditions, contrasting with modern synthetics. Natural dyes give richer, softer, more nuanced colors. They have a vibrancy synthetics often lack. And crucially, they age beautifully, developing that desirable patina rather than just fading artificially. Gives the rug character an organic feel, a link to tradition.
What about the fibers, wool, cotton, silk?
Each brings something. Wool is prized for durability, resilience, taking color vibrantly, great for wear. Cotton is often the foundation, warp and weft, strong, stable, resists stretching, provides the skeleton. And silk, especially from cashmere, brings that incredible sheen, softness, luminosity.
And the cashmere silk being affordable yet high quality.
That's significant. Silk allows for finer detail, sharper designs that shimmering light reflection wool can't quite match. The affordability suggests cashmere balances skilled craft, efficient methods, and material access, making luxury silk rugs more attainable. So when you see an Indian rug, you're seeing the result of intricate techniques and conscious material choices honoring ancient practices, all contributing to its beauty, resilience, and unique character, a blend of function and high art.
And where are these centers of production? The sources list Kashmir, Jaipur, Agra, and Bhadohi as the well-known centers for carpet weaving in India.
Those aren't just dots on a map. They're vibrant hubs that have sustained and evolved this craft for centuries, each with specialties. Kashmir, known for fine silk rugs, Persian-influenced designs. Jaipur in Rajasthan, strong Mughal influence, vibrant colors. Agra near the Taj Mahal also has a long tradition, intricate patterns, often sophisticated palettes. And Bhadohi, Uttar Pradesh, often called Carpet City, for its sheer volume and diversity of production.
So regional specialties keep the tradition alive and diverse.
Precisely. The concentration of skills, generational knowledge, Local materials in these hubs ensures Indian rug weaving stays vital, innovative, and contributes beautifully to the global tapestry of handmade textiles.
What an incredible journey we've taken today. We started just thinking about the ground and ended up on this deep dive into threads of tradition. We really got to understand that dedicated, multi-generational craftsmanship behind magnificent hand-knotted Oriental carpets like at Babak's. Their story highlights the enduring value. These are art, heirlooms, investments.
Definitely more than just floor coverings. And from there, we traced the amazing path of damask. From its ancient roots as a complex weave in trade centers like Damascus, traveling via crusaders to Europe, revolutionized by the draw loom. We even saw how nomadic women wove their identity into their pieces, each one a unique story.
Then we saw damask transform with technology like the jacquard loom, becoming more accessible but still holding on to its luxury feel, and how it thrives today in fashion. Finally, discovering its brilliant echo as a design motif in Indian rugs, especially cashmere silk ones, showing that Mughal influence and the beautiful blending of traditions.
So the key takeaways for you listening, I think it really reinforces the enduring value of meticulous hand craftsmanship. There's a human story, a legacy of skill in every thread. We've seen how deep historical roots connect diverse art traditions across continents, how art evolves through exchange and reinterpretation,
Yeah.
and it undeniably highlights the importance of expertise, dedication, passion in preserving these art forms, whether through a family business or ancient nomadic traditions.
So as we wrap up, here's a final thought for you to maybe mull over. How do these intricate threads of history and tradition keep weaving into the fabric of our everyday lives, often in places we don't expect? Think about that rug, maybe a curtain pattern, a scarf. What other objects around you might hold this rich, untold tapestry of history, art, culture, if you just looked a bit closer?
It's a great question to ponder.
And in our increasingly digital, mass-produced world, what does the lasting beauty, the significance, the soul of handmade items truly mean? For us now and for generations to come, we hope this encourages you to keep looking closer, asking questions, and appreciating the amazing stories woven into the world all around you.